Well, starting today, millions of parents could see extra money in their bank accounts thanks to a new expanded child tax credit.
Eligible families could get up to $300 a month per child through the end of the year. It's part of President Biden's American Rescue Plan, which was approved earlier this year. Tim Smeeting is a professor of public affairs and economics at the La Follette School of Public Affairs at UW-Madison, and he is an expert on social economic mobility. Tim, good to see you.
Nice to be with you, Susan.
Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for being with us today. So this sounds like it probably involves a lot of math, but tell us who is eligible to receive this tax credit.
Well, any child under the age of 18 in the United States with a Social Security number whose family income is less than about $200,000. This includes 90% of the kids in the country, a higher fraction in rural areas.
So is there an income limit?
Yeah, there's an upper income limit. There are very few kids of those ages living in families with incomes above $200,000, $250,000. That's where it phases out. But the important thing is it goes all the way down to people with no income. So let's say you have grandparents caring for grandchildren and actually being their parents because their parents aren't able, they're eligible. Or people who didn't earn enough to get the whole credit before, they're eligible. So there's going to be really big impacts in the bottom third of all kids who didn't really receive the full credit before. That was $2,000, but now, as you mentioned, that's $2,000 a year. Now, as you mentioned, it's going to be up to $3,600 a year or $300 for kids under 6, and $3,000 a year, $250 a month for kids between the ages of 6 and 17.
Is there anything families need to do to receive this tax credit, or does it just show up in your direct deposit on your paycheck?
That's a great question, Susan. If you're a regular taxpayer and you filed taxes in 20 or 21, and the IRS deems that you have an eligible child, you could find that money deposited in your bank account today if you deal with them, if they have your checking account, or you might receive a refund for direct deposit, or they mailed you a check today. Now that is going to include about 80% or 85% of the eligible kids. The other 15% will have to go and apply. So a classic example is, suppose you are a legal citizen in the United States, but a child of an immigrant family where not both families, both parents, let's say, don't have Social Security numbers. You are eligible. That's up to 6 million kids in this country who are born here, are U.S. citizens, and are eligible. Their parents may have to apply because if they don't have a Social Security number to get them the benefit, but they're eligible. Or as I mentioned earlier, there are up to 8 million kids living with grandparents, and the grandparents are providing room and board and residence and at least half of the sustenance of these kids because the parents may be in jail, may be sick, may have some substance issues or whatever. Those grandparents are eligible too. Well, those groups are going to have to apply to get the benefit. But the IRS has a website they can go to apply. But the rest, the vast majority of parents should start seeing it either today or by early next week.
It's going to make
and it will continue for 6 months.
Yeah, it's going to be a big economic impact, that's for sure.
And the Democrats want to make it permanent, so this conversation will continue potentially.
Absolutely. They want to extend it beyond the 1 year. So the way it is right now, you're going to get this benefit for the next 6 months in the middle of the month, like the 15th of July and so forth. And then the other half you'll get in a big refund at tax time. And that's only for the year 2021. But the idea is that as we start to document how much difference this is making in people's lives, how important this is to working families, they can pay their childcare expenses, they can pay their rent, they can enroll kids in after-school programs, they can pay for access to good broadband and so forth. The Democrats certainly are hoping that will mean that everybody will be in favor of it, and there'll be such a groundswell that it will become part of a tax bill or the budget bill this fall.
Time will tell.
And if it does, it is the biggest thing that ever happened to children since the war on poverty. Essentially it's Social Security for kids.
Pretty
You
amazing.
can think of it that way.
All right, Tim, thanks for being with us today.
Tim, thank you so much. Great to see you.
Thank you.